que estamos viendo en estos momentos, porque además también hemos conocido hoy que Sam Bankman-Fried, a través de FTX, debe 3.100 millones de dólares a 50 acreedores. 3.100 millones de dólares. Vamos a preguntar por esto y por otras muchas más cuestiones a nuestro invitado. Hablamos con Mathias Imbach, es cofundador del grupo y también CEO del grupo Sygnum. Mathias, thank you so much for having us a few minutes. Good afternoon from Spain.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
We are seeing how the FTX crisis continues to unfold every day, and now we know the exchange owes a total of $3.1 billion to its 50 biggest unsecured creditors. Which impact do you think this will have on the entire crypto industry?
Yeah, it's certainly the case that these numbers obviously lead to us having to now expect over the next few weeks or even months further cascading events unfolding in the industry. So there may be, or there will certainly be, further companies that will come forward and reveal that on the basis of this exposure to FTX that they will have to close shop or go bankrupt. It's certainly also the case that over the next 2 to 3 weeks and months, it will become very clear which companies have been operating with a solid risk framework, counterparty risk assessments, and also governance. And so that is a little bit what I would expect to unfold over the next 1 to 2 months. Overall, it's of course a significant shock to the industry, which will take time to absorb, to digest, and then to rebuild trust. But what is equally important to notice is that at any point in time, the underlying technology, the distributed ledgers, the blockchains, they have worked as intended, and in that sense, the mega trend will unfold, I'm very sure, in the mid to long term.
And meanwhile, we are seeing how Coinbase is falling in Wall Street, more than 6% now. This crypto platform fell more than 7% last Friday. And Bank of America has downgraded the exchange from buy to neutral due to the collapse of FTX and risks that could affect Coinbase. What do you think? Are these falls that we are, what do you think about? Are these falls a sign of worries in Coinbase?
No, I would say these developments are to be seen very much in context of the collapse of FTX, which, and one has to make that very clear, is the collapse of a vastly unregulated, very badly governed offshore crypto exchange, and which should really not be taken as a comparison to, for example, a Coinbase, which is a listed US headquartered company. At the same time, it's only natural that these effects, so the effect of this collapse would also impact related companies with similar business models, such as Coinbase. What I think is much more important is to take a step back and obviously to realize that right now is a time where people are worried about trust, whom to trust, which counterparties to interact with. People are asking questions such as, is a counterparty in the crypto space regulated? And if so, where? It does matter now where one is regulated and what the actual underlying license means, but also in particular whether the assets that clients deposit with centralized counterparties, whether they are held on or off balance sheet. That means if something happens to the counterparty, are these assets bankruptcy remote or not?
These falls that we are seeing now in crypto are opening up profitable opportunities. What do you think?
Well, certainly. I mean, I personally, of course, I'm biased. I've been following and been active in this industry for many years, and I've seen the many ups and downs. But one thing has always remained the same, namely that the underlying technology works, the ability to transfer originals and now copies between peers on an ongoing basis and without intermediaries, as long as there's access to internet. It's a very revolutionary idea which goes through booms and busts, and sometimes innovations requires exaggerations, and then it's kind of taking a step back again, and we're seeing this now. It's certainly been too big of a kind of a setback. It's been a significant setback, this FTX debacle. However, again, those who believe in the future, but at the same time accept that future as heritage and that we need to abide by certain rules that we all know from traditional finance, from traditional banking around KYC, anti-money laundering, managing sanctions, etc. properly, those will know that now is the time to actually invest in companies or look at companies that do things right, because the underlying assets and the underlying technology are in full swing. There's hundreds of thousands of developers still building on it, and innovations will come out. And as we always say, right, there will be lots of winners will be built during crisis. Now it's obviously up to the investors to build their own thesis and pick the right ones.
Thank you so much, Mathias, for this analysis. Pleasure.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Pues nosotros nos quedamos con este análisis y, como nos decía